Hi everyone. In this video, I'm going to talk about local and global variables, as they are used in Python. Okay, so let's make an assumption here. We're going to just do a simple program that can calculate how much someone must be paid on the basis of how many hours they worked. So I'm going to have the rate at which someone is being paid, and then some function will have the row of being able to change the rate, another one to just show the rate, and another one is going to be able to compute, the amount to be paid to someone. So let's begin. So we're going to create a global variable. Okay, we're going to call it rate, and then this rate we're going to give it a value, maybe say 23.45. Okay, so that's the rate that someone is going to be paid. So we're saying this is what we put here. This is a global variable. Okay. Now let's have a procedure that can show us the rate. So I was going to say the rate in a definition, and let's call it show rate. Okay, we're going to call it show rate, and we'll do the following. What will it do? So we're going to just make it simply. So print, we say the pay rate is. So this is going to show us the rate of pay. Okay, so it is going to show the rate, but so say the pay rate is that. Okay, so the pay rate is rate. So what are we doing here? When we say rate here, rate is referring to the global variable here, rate. So we're able to access it just like that. Okay, so if you try to just see how this is working, you can run this program and say call show rate. Okay, you call show rate, meaning we're trying to call this procedure here. Okay, what happens if we do that? So let's run this and see the output. So fine, we have this output. The pay rate is that 23.45, which basically comes by calling this procedure, which prints this and then puts the rate there, which is that rate there. Now, what's interesting is, what if now I want to have a procedure that can change the rate? Let's do this. It says definition. Okay, let's call this one change rate. Okay, so change rate. So I'm going to declare a variable here, rate. Okay, is equal to. So someone has to enter the input. So say enter the rate. Okay, enter the new rate. Enter the new rate, and then since we want this to be in form of a float, we're going to also convert whatever is going to be entered. You say if rate is equal to, so we'll convert it to a float. So say float and then the rate, meaning whatever is entered here as the rate, want to convert it, okay, to become the rate. Okay, so rate here is converted. So this is a new variable here, rate. So now let's do this. So we'll call show rate here, and then we'll call change rate. Then afterwards we'll come and call show rate. So let's try to assume that, okay, this must change the rate. When we enter a new rate, it's supposed to change, and then when we call show rate here, it's supposed to see a different value. Okay, so what do we see when we run this? So let's try to get this. Okay, that's the current rate, and then let's enter a new rate. Let's say it's now 29. Okay, 0.8. Okay, notice something here. Again, the pay rate comes back as 23.45. Okay, why is that the case? So this value here, rate, this value here, rate, is actually a local variable. Okay, as it is, this rate is not the same as that rate. Okay, this rate is a local variable, unless we specify to say we want this rate to be the same as this rate here, meaning want this to refer to the local global variable. So how do you achieve that? So what we are saying is, to refer to a global variable in a function, you have to put the word global like this, and then you say rate. Okay. So like this, I'm saying I'm creating a variable rate, but this rate I'm referring to is actually the same global variable which is there. Okay. Now with this, now let's try to run this program, and it's what we're going to get. Okay. Enter the rate. So we have seen the rate is currently that. You know, now the new rate is 28. Okay, and then we run this. So we get now this updated. That's the new rate there that is there. So you've seen, to refer to a global variable, the key thing you are saying is put the word global and then the name of the variable, meaning the one which is already existing. Okay, good. So now with that, let's put up another function that can kind of compute the pay. Let's call it compute, okay, compute pay. So this one must compute the pay if you give it, someone gives it the hours, okay. So we'll give this variable, we'll give this function the value for hours, then should use the rate to compute how much someone must be paid. Okay, so what will this print? You just put a simple print here. You say, okay, print, and then you say, okay, this is the pay slip. Okay, this is the pay slip. Okay, so it's going to just print something like this. Okay, it will print something like in, okay, hours worked. Okay, hours worked, you just print the value for hours. So say we'll show hours and then print amount to be paid, amount to pay. Okay, amount to pay. So how much this person be paid? We're assuming that it's being paid in kwacha, okay, since we're in Zambia anyway. So what are we going to do here? We're going to multiply whatever is going to come as the hours. Okay, so say it's hours. Okay, say it's hours. Hours, we're going to multiply that by what is going to the rate. So I'm going to put the rate here. Now the good part here is by virtue of mentioning rate here, I'm literally saying I'm referring to the global variable here because there's nowhere else where I've said rate is equal to something. Remember, in Python, a variable is declared when we say rate is equal to something. Then we have created a new variable rate. But in this case, when we just say rate, we automatically referring to this global variable here. Okay. So this will show us the amount to be paid. Let's do an experiment. Okay. So what we'll do is we'll show the current rate and then we'll tell someone to say let's have someone enter the time. Okay, let's say time taken. Okay, so time taken will come as the input. So input is going to be entered. We have someone enter hours worked. Okay, someone will enter the hours worked. Then what are we going to do? Now let's convert this into a float, just to make it in form of a number so that you can easily pass it to hours here. So we're going to say time taken is equal to, so convert that string into float. You say time taken. And then like this, now what are we going to do? Okay, so let's do a computation, okay? So we're going to do a computation on the odd rate, okay? So say print, say odd rate, okay? Odd rate payment. Odd rate payment, so we're going to show someone's pay on the basis of the odd rate here. Okay, so to get that, we're going to get the procedure compute pay. We say compute pay, then we pass the time taken as the hours here. Then now afterwards we call the procedure change rate, and then we do the same. And then what we do is literally what we have here. It's the same thing. Okay, so we're going to get this here now. Okay, then we're going to say now this is a new rate payment. So we're going to show someone the rate for the current rate, the new pay based on the rate which is going to be entered. So the flow of this is this. The program shows us the current rate, and then we enter the time taken by an employee, and then to compute the rate, the payment on the basis of the current rate which is there, then change rate to compute to more like tell someone to enter the new rate, and then it will change the global variable rate, and then compute pay is going to now compute the same pay again now on the basis of the new rate, because we're assuming that after this is called, it will change the variable their rate, so that when you call compute hours the second time, it's going to show the payment on the basis of the new rate. So let's try to run this and see what it's going to give us. Okay, that's the current rate. So if someone maybe say takes let's say someone works for 20 hours. Okay, So what do we see here? Okay, so the odd rate payment is number of hours is 20, so it multiplies this 20 here, multiplies it by the current rate, which is the 23.45 here, and then gives us this value. Now let's enter a new rate here. Let's say now the rate has been increased, has become 31.45. Okay, then we do that. So what do we see again here? You see the program executing this new rate payment. So this is a payslip. Hours worked 20, amount to pay is that. Okay, and it says, okay, the amount to pay is that, and then the pay rate used is that. Okay, so we're able to see how we're able to change a global variable to a new value. Okay, as long as we've put this indication global, then we are saying I want to now, this rate is actually the global variable and I want to modify it here. Okay, thank you so much. So we're going to see more in the next video on this topic.